Welcome back into the show. It is a bright, sunny day here in the orchards at Way Fruit Farm. We're here where they grow almost 30 different varieties of apples. Back again with Jason Coopy here. Now that the leaves are changing, you're kind of going into a dormant stage, but you got to already start prepping for next year.
Oh, we do, because all of the buds actually for the next year's apples are already on these trees. So these trees are ready to go for next spring already. Believe it or not, that's how they work. But we like to put them to bed properly. You know, we've harvested everything, and you know, regardless of where you're at in America, if you see an apple in the grocery store, it was all harvested in October or September. And so everything you see is going to be from that time frame and stored. So we harvest these trees when they're at prime spot for their harvesting, and then we store them. So we'll have apples for sale all winter long, even for Thanksgiving, those perfect pie apples, all those kind of things. Christmas, we'll have them because we have the wonderful baking varieties, all those things. But now that we just finished harvest, now that we just finished, it's time to start doing the things. So one of the things we do is we mow the orchards. So there's gonna be a tractor going by here right now, and like literally that's what he's doing. Is we're gonna go through, we're gonna do that because on our Instagram and Facebook just the other day we released a red-tailed hawk. Believe it or not, with keeping the grass short like this, it makes it so that those hawks and predators can actually find all the little mice and all those little critters that we don't want running around the orchard. So we'll actually mow a couple times here, trying to knock up all the clumps and everything else, so that way our orchards stay free of all those mice and little varmints that we don't really want gnawing on the trees.
All about maintenance, obviously, to make your life a little bit easier going down the road. I know we did a segment before about pruning the trees and getting those ready in that way too.
And that's what we're going to start that process very shortly. So that's why we'll get all the grass gone, because then we'll also have to chop the brush. We don't want to chop the brush and the grass and all those things. We want to let the leaves fall off the trees, and once they do that, that's when we can start pruning. Once they go dormant, then we start, because it's going to take us all winter long. We have 20,000 trees. So it's one of those things that it's not like I'm going to start pruning and be done tomorrow afternoon. You know, it takes all winter long to get the trees pruned and done all right. So yeah, so this is that time of year where we're just trying to get everything set so we can start pruning and everything's nice and clean and organized. And, you know, but we also spend a lot of time this time of year making cider, making fruit baskets, and sorting those apples for everybody's pies.
Yeah, it's just kind of on to the next, but you're maintaining a lot of different components and letting nature kind of do its thing, but also the technology of modern day farming.
That's it. And, you know, and you say the technology, but what we're doing right now is stuff that's been done since the beginning of time. You know, clear the brush away from your trees, get the grass low, so that way you don't have all the undesirable things coming into the orchard. It's much better to do it naturally than it is to come in and have to put down some sort of rat bait or something like that. Yeah. So if we do it right, you know, it's amazing how the Mother Nature will help take care of the trees for us. Tried
and true methods, all that trial and error that's sort of been figured out for you. But now, of course, washing the apples, getting them ready to go into the cooler. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
The cooler?
Yeah, we have the big coolers down there. As I said, that's the same thing for every apple that's grown across America. They're all going in the coolers, and you'll be able to buy them, you know, for us until next, probably May.
Wow. Keeps them nice, preserves them, because the apple's a pretty hardy fruit.
It really is. I think that's why you see, you know, like we're coming up towards Thanksgiving and the apple pie. And I think that's why you see apples as being so much of sort of the classic American, is because they did store well. You know, peaches are wonderful. We grow them, but you have them for 4 weeks in August and then they're gone. You know, you can't store a peach. You can't store a strawberry. You can't store a cherry. You can freeze some of those things, but it changes them a good bit. Where apples, you know, we're going to have that apple and it's going to taste almost the same months from now as it did right now. So they really are quite amazing. In the old days, they used to package them in sawdust to keep them from freezing and keep them from going bad. And so, you know, before we had all the fancy things we now with the 34-degree refrigeration with high humidity, with sprinklers and everything else, before that, it was just pack them in sawdust and try to stick them in a garage, and so they'd store all winter long. So we've come a long ways, but even back then, it was still the fruit of choice because of its durability.
Yeah, incredible to get this type of perspective out here and see just one little chapter of a day in the life of Jason Coopy and what goes on here at Way Fruit Farm. Tell us where you're located too. So people, we just chatted with some people. They said, we've never been out here. Today's our first day. We saw one of the segments, and you never know. Someone might see this and say, we need to stop on by.
No, I'm amazed by your viewership. They are very loyal, and they Every time I do this show with you, it's amazing how many folks come out because they do. We're located in Port Matilda at 2355 Half Moon Valley Road in Port Matilda. We also have a store downtown State College at 252 East Calder Way, kind of right in by the tavern, kind of just across from the hub.
Lots of great stuff to get, goodies, fresh produce, and so much more. They've got some great local favorites as well. So stop on by if you haven't made your way out to Way Fruit Farm.